Hey guys, Jim Travers with Air Purchases again. I met a heating and air conditioning contractor last week. He's been in business 28 years, he's the second generation, and he has two sons in the business with him today. And as it usually does, the conversation turned towards profit. He said he earned a profit in most years, but never felt it was the profit that he should. I asked what type of profit does he expect to make on his jobs. He told me 40%. I then asked him what the process was that he used to determine that he makes 40% profit on his jobs. He told me that he takes his total direct costs and multiplies it times 1.4. I shared with him that it's a very common mistake regarding profit, and it is made by 8 out of every 10 contractors. And guys, if you don't understand this mistake, it's costing you money slowly. And I use the analogy of the frog experiment. They say if you take a frog and throw it into a pan of boiling water, it'll jump right out. Put that same frog in room temperature water, turn the heat up slowly, the frog will adjust to the changing condition, and eventually it will cook. Now I want you to know, no frogs were injured in the making of this video. There's our star frog Kermie, and this is our stunt frog. I use that analogy because sometimes contractors get cooked over time, just like our friend Kermie. They hardly make any net profit and rarely have the capital needed to grow into the business that they should. John Hall, the business editor for the News, wrote an excellent article where he points out that his research shows that the average HVAC contractor sells less than $800,000 in sales with approximately a 3% net profit. At 3% net, a business does not turn a profit until week 50. That's right, the last 2 weeks of the year. Seems like an awful lot of risk for so little reward. Well, my new friend was shocked to see this, and he didn't believe that a 3% profit wasn't generated until mid-December. So once again, I turn towards math to tell my story. Okay, so I take $800,000 in sales with a 3% net profit. That's $24,000 in net profit. I took the $800,000 divided by 52. It's $15,384 a week. So when we follow this down, we're not making any profit in quarter one, no profit in quarter two, again, no profit in quarter three. And quarter four, gentlemen, is just about over before we make our profit of $24,000 somewhere between week 50 and week 51. It's a little scary, isn't it? Okay, guys, here's a couple of things to remember. As important it is to know your cost, you need to know the math. Understand that markup is associated with cost, while margin is associated with sales. And I'll get into this deeper in a future presentation, but for now we just want to look at the markup percentage portion. So Jim sells widgets. He buys a widget for $100. He marks it up 40%. Here's the math to show that. 100 times 1.4. Sells that widget for $140, and he has a profit of $40. The question is, does this show a 40% gross profit margin? Well, let's look at Jim has a new buyer, Widget Mart. Widget Mart is going to distribute his widgets nationally. So right now Jim has a 40% profit on those widgets, but they're going to do so much volume that he's going to discount those widgets by 30%, and it still should leave him a 10% new profit. So 40% profit, he's going to discount it for Widget Mart by 30%, leaving him 10% profit. So his sell is $140. He discounts it by 30%, so it's $140 times 0.3. The discount is $42, and his new sell is $98. But wait a second, his cost was $100. His markup was 40%, that brought it to $140. He gave it a 30% discount of $42. He sold it for $98. He lost $2. How can this be? 40% minus 30% leaves me 10%. How can I be losing $2? Jim wanted to make 10, but he lost 2. Is this why I struggle every month? Possibly. I don't know the math. So what went wrong? To obtain a gross profit of 40%, you need to do either of these two things. Mark up cost by 66%, so cost times 1.66, or divide cost by 0.6. So my sell equals cost divided by 0.6. So let's take a look at the math now. My cost is 100. My markup is 66%. So the formula looks like 100 times 1.66 gives me a sell price of 166 and profit of $66. I take my sell of 166, I discount it by 30%. My discount now is $49.80, and my new sell is $116.20. So my cost was 100. My markup was 66% to get me to 166 sell. I discounted it by 30%, or $49.80. I sold it for $116.20. I netted the 10% that I wanted, $16.20. So I made $16.20 in this transaction. I didn't lose money. So guys, now you can see how important it is to understand markup and margin in your business. If you have a 35% overhead and mark all your costs up by 50%, you're still losing money. If you're one of the 8 out of 10 contractors not pricing correctly and would like to discuss pricing strategies further, give us a call and get a laminated gross profit tool that AirPerch is designed to help you price jobs accurately. Remember the frog experiment. It's the gradual adjustment it makes to its own demise. Give us a call at 781-273-2050 to set up a 15-minute WebEx so that I can show you the tools, programs, and products that we have that will help you drive leads, close sales, and keep more profit.